Hey everyone, welcome back to more Reddit stories about entitled people, crazy people, and anything else we find interesting. As usual, we'll be checking out some more Reddit posts today, so feel free to share your thoughts about today's stories down in the comments and we're getting right into it. About to get arrested when I land in Boston. I can't believe this is happening to me. I'm flying from Chicago to Boston now and police are waiting for me when I land, so I don't have much time, but I'm still gonna try and figure out my options. Edit. I've looked all over the internet and can't find any FAA rule stating your feet have to be on the ground during takeoff. Here's what happened. I was on an American Airlines flight from Chicago to Boston on November 3rd, 2019. Because of low blood pressure, a foot injury, and to prevent my ankles and feet from swelling, I use a small sling that hangs from the tray table while closed and props your feet higher. The sling is often advertised on Facebook for this exact purpose, to make flights more comfortable for us shorter passengers. Right before takeoff, the flight attendant, who was in a very grumpy mood, yelled at me to put my feet on the ground. I am a frequent traveler and have never been instructed to put my feet on the ground before. You have to put your feet on the ground. I cannot emphasize how rudely she barked at me. No, I don't, but okay, I said as I put my feet down. Emphasizing again, I complied and put my feet down the first and only time she asked. Although I had never been instructed to put my feet down in the 100 plus flights I've taken with my foot sling, I complied. I put my feet down immediately. Even if it's technically not allowed by some rule I'm not aware of, the flight attendant unnecessarily escalated the situation. She immediately escalated. Would you like to go back to the gate? We're gonna go back to the gate. And immediately ran down the cabin to her crew members in the back. But right after she said that, the captain announced that we were taking off. She came back to my seat and barked. Police will be waiting for you when we land in Boston. My seatmates were equally shocked at her escalating behavior. I had put my feet down when she asked, and my 5 words, "No I don't, but okay," are now the cause of a police interrogation. Her statement caused me to panic inside. I'm now mid-flight with no idea what will await me at the gate. So I took some time-stamped photos immediately and stowed my foot sling back into my backpack for the remainder of the flight. Am I screwed? Update 1. Thank you so much for your quick advice on a Sunday morning. I memorized some of the lines you wrote below. As we were about to land, the flight attendant handed me this slip of paper. It reads, "Notice, your actions may be in violation of federal law. Immediately cease if you wish to avoid potential prosecution and removal from this aircraft at the next point of arrival. This is a formal warning that federal air regulations FAR prohibit the following, and may result in a civil penalty of up to $25,000 or in some cases, imprisonment. Assault, threaten, intimidate, or interfere with the crew member in the performance of their duties, FAR 91.11. Smoking where no smoking placards are posted, signs are illuminated, or in any lavatory. Tampering with, disabling, or destroying smoke detectors installed in the lavatory is not permitted, FAR 121.317. Drinking alcoholic beverages not served by a crew member or being served alcohol if you appear to be intoxicated, FAR 121.575. And the flight attendant says, "The police will contact you when you get home. You will be banned from future flights." Okay, I said. "Oh, I hope so," she said as she walked away. I burst out crying and hate myself for expressing emotion because she got what she wanted. She won. There was surprisingly no police at the gate, no one to handcuff me and read my Miranda rights. I made it home in one piece. Still worried about the police contacting me and being banned from future American airline flights. I've been an emotional wreck and can't stop crying. My Thanksgiving and holiday flights are both on American Airlines. My seatmates were really nice and let me record their accounts of what happened. They gave me their business card in case I need a witness. Thank you again for your helpful comments. I am not in jail yet, at least. Update 2. American Airlines called me, apologized for the flight attendant, quote, escalating out of control. They will open an internal investigation. I conveyed that I don't want the flight attendant to suffer or be fired. Everyone has bad days and she works a thankless job. But that it's up to American Airlines to decide how to discipline the employee and to prevent this from happening again. I don't want anyone else to suffer this stupid nonsense. She assured me that I won't get arrested or banned and gave me her email in case something does happen to me. I did not ask for compensation and told her that I'm not here for vengeance. Not here to make money or fame from American Airlines. Nope, did not make a dime from this and don't plan to. I will not be responding to media inquiries. For those of you calling me obese and telling me to die, I'm a 120-pound girl. I injured my foot and was hospitalized, thus the sling. Forgot to mention that the incident happened during the usual cabin check before takeoff. Around me, some tray tables were still lowered, some backpacks not tucked completely under yet, some seatbelts not fastened yet. It's just that I talked back, "No I don't, but okay," and I regret that so much. Update 2.5. There's been lots of debate about whether the sling is allowed or not. American Airlines told me 1. Yes, medical devices are allowed. 2. I am protected under ACAA and ADA. 3. Technically on American Airlines you don't need to always make a special request to allow the device. In most cases you can just tell the crew that it's a medical device and they should understand. But for extra safety it helps to make a note on your profile about it. 4. There should be no obstructive items in the way during takeoff and landing. However, this particular American Airlines representative said that the sling is not an obstructive item. Coworker attempted to film female coworker in restroom at party. Last night I went to a house party with the crew that I work with. We're in the US Navy, stationed in South Carolina. I recently came back to crew after a few months away in a different department at the command we are all attached to. The party was attended by about 12 men and 1 woman, ages ranging from low 20s to upwards of 32, myself. We played beer pong and pool. She eventually left a few hours into the party. After she left, the host, who I do not know very well because he recently reported to the command, started talking about how much he wants to F her. That's fine, and I don't judge him for wanting to get laid. The problem is that a few minutes later, he checks his phone and is pissed that the camera he had set up in the restroom was turned around. Apparently he had set it up in there in hopes to get a video of her with their pants down. One other partygoer, a friend I've known for several years, had seen it and turned it around so it wouldn't face him. It was just chance that he saw it first before our female coworker used the restroom. The host is pissed that his plan failed. At this point, I'm kicking myself for not saying anything at the time. I personally think it's sick and twisted for him to do this. All other guys acted neutral. They neither egged him on nor voiced their disapproval. I left soon after this occurred. The entire day I've been racked with indecision. I don't know the best way to proceed. The way I see it, my choices are: do nothing, unacceptable in my opinion. He's bound to do this again. Tell the victim directly. This warns her of his nature and she can file a report if she chooses to. Make an anonymous tip. File a formal report. I know that anything I do will probably affect me in some way. There were only so many people at the party. I'm relatively new and don't know most of them very well. That is not to say it will stop me from doing the right thing. I don't want her to get hurt, and I don't want him to continue his sick practices. I fully realize that I and many others at the party were likely victims of voyeurism as well. I know I went to the restroom before my friend did, so I most likely was picked up on video. That is a path possibly worth pursuing, but I am more concerned about the female coworker. Update. I called the SARC, Sexual Assault Response Coordinator, for the base. She said the best avenue would be to contact the command, who would then contact the NCIS, or to contact NCIS directly. She said to do either in the morning. I'm going to contact NCIS directly and go from there. Thanks for the responses. I was really conflicted with how to report this. There wasn't really a question about whether I should or not, just how. In the end, NCIS and the chain of command was informed, and the suspect is no longer working with us. He most likely has had his security clearance temporarily revoked while under investigation. Hopefully, he'll never be able to do this type of thing again. It saddens me that every other guy at the party was going to let this go. I just couldn't do that. She has resources to help deal with this, and thankfully it seems he didn't get what he wanted. And on to the next update. So it's been a few days and a lot has happened. As I said in the previous post, I called the SARC and she directed me to get in touch with NCIS. For whatever reason, they never answered their damn on-call duty agent phone that day. I had to go into work and it was really effing difficult working next to the guy that night. I ran through a dozen different ways to tell the right people in my head, but circumstances made me wait. About halfway through our shift, I was able to tell the victim in a private setting. She was obviously very upset. Then I immediately went and told our superior officer of our crew. He agreed to take care of it. I finished the shift without seeing the victim, my female coworker, again. I left work and immediately drove to the NCIS office on base. The agent there was awesome. We went through all of the details and I started writing out my statement. While doing so, my officer in charge called me to get details so he could pass it up the chain. I told him that I was already at NCIS and he was pleased. He thanked me for coming forward and ensuring our coworker would be protected. By the time I finished writing my statement, the whole command was aware of the situation. I was pleased. I already knew that the victim was going to get a night off. What I didn't know is that the suspect, host of the party, would no longer be with us anymore as well. The official explanation was, quote, trouble with his security clearance. This is speculation, but I think while investigating the camera aspect of this, they found evidence of him using illegal betting services. The government doesn't take that crap lightly, especially if you have a security clearance. I think this because the same day he wasn't at work, they warned the staff that if you use illegal betting services, a bookie, to stop. He's under investigation and I remained anonymous. My officer knows, but I trust him. I was on the same ship with him for years. He's a great guy. Now hopefully he will never be able to hurt someone like this again. Thanks for the great advice, even though I knew generally what to do in the first place. Sometimes it's just good to get some validation on my thought process. And moving on to the final update. It's been quite a while, but we all love updates, so I figured I'd close the saga up. Where we last left off, I had informed my female coworker and an officer I trusted, then NCIS. The host of the party was absent from work the next day, and I have not seen him since. About 4 months ago, I was contacted by a legal representative working on the case, United States versus defendant's name, which finally confirmed to me that it was going to court-martial. He had to ask me questions to see if I was a reliable character witness, questioning if I had ever been arrested, been in legal trouble in the past, etc. He told me that if I didn't hear from him in about a month, it means the defendant took a plea deal. Otherwise, I would eventually testify against him in a court-martial. It's obviously been longer than that, and I haven't heard back from him. He told me I wouldn't be privy to actual details of his punishment, so I don't know if he is actually going to spend time in the brig. I imagine he wouldn't be able to avoid it, but it all depends on his plea deal. The victim eventually finished her time at this command and transferred to a ship. She's married now. A few weeks after the incident, I asked if she wanted to grab a cup of coffee outside of work to discuss what happened, and she agreed. Then it fell through. I just wanted to explain to her the difficult time I had, not in deciding whether or not to report, but how. I just had a conversation with a group of people at work earlier today, and the defendant came up in conversation. It seems many people at work knew about it because of my original posting, but nobody suspects me. At this point, it wouldn't matter if they found out it was me. I have a clear conscience, and I know I did the right thing. My only hesitation at the time was due to lack of trust in my chain of command. Thanks for all of the good advice and encouragement. Alright everyone, that's going to be all for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already for more Reddit content like this. So I'm out of here, stay tuned for more and I'll see you next time.